Welcome back, everybody, to the Rattle Cage podcast. I am Ryan, joined as always with Sterling here. We are going to go over the Goodyear 400 throwback weekend. What are we on? Roto Ballers or whatever the heck that is?
Say what?
You cracking that can, that reminds me
Oh,
of what's I can't remember what the hell that show is
I
called,
know
but
what you're talking about, but I can't think what the hell it's called.
I can't either. But anyway, we're gonna get into the Goodyear
Stacking
400.
pennies.
Stacking pennies, that's what it is. Yep. But yeah, we're gonna get into the Goodyear 400 here, driver by driver breakdown. Pretty decent qualifying actually for once. I think this is probably the most laid out qualifying I think we've got. Throwback, like I said, throwback weekend, always one of my favorite weekends. Seeing all the cool paint schemes out there.
You like it more than Chase Elliott does.
Yeah, I can't believe Chase Elliott doesn't like it, but that
I wonder if it's kind of just the track too, though, because he sucks here. So
yeah, which is a shame because in the old gen car he was actually pretty good, but yeah, new gen, I just don't think he's very good here. But we'll get right into it. So first off, we have well, actually, first off, I do want to say if anybody is listening and they want to get in that in our Discord, we have a Rattle Cage Discord. I will post a link in the comment section after this video. You can join. It's free. We have a lot of high end big sharks, NASCAR DFS sharks. We have Cam Fan, Brad, Ben, Evil Surge, who won the Fantasy Racing World Championship. We have great guys in there like D Bulls. Am I missing anybody like ACS? I forget
Barnett.
Barnett, who won the GPP layer last week. So we have a bunch of big sharks in there that just like the BS, and if you need any help at all building lineups, you know, anybody in there. I mean, obviously me and Sterling are in there too, but yeah, a lot of guys will help you out. If you ask any questions, they're more than willing to help you and say what they're doing. And it's very transparent, like Sterling always says. So it's free. If you want to get in it, definitely get in it. We're more than happy to help have you. But yeah, so let's get into this pit road here, pit road assignments. What sticks out to you here, Sterling?
Mainly, it's just the fact that at Darlington, that first pit stall is like right at the end of pit road, pretty much almost at the line of pit road exit. So
Kind of like how Phoenix used to be.
yeah, so it's kind of hard for that number one pit stall to actually speed on exit. So basically, just a boost to Byron,
Yeah.
and just kind of the obvious reasons for guys like Hamlin and Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch and Briscoe. They just have that empty stall in front of them. So
Yeah. Even like a Reddick there. Ryan Priest doesn't have a bad one.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on because we all know that sometimes races are won and lost on pit road. So I will bring up the wrong button there. There we go. We will bring up the driver by driver breakdown here. So we got, I don't know why that said, oh, I accidentally typed that H. That's Kyle Larson. I was hitting H the screen share, but so here we have it, Sterling, the driver by driver breakdown. Like I said, I don't think qualifying actually went too bad as far as which is a good thing, or it could be a good thing or a bad thing as far as DFS because I think you're gonna have a lot of chalky players, but I don't think it went too bad as far as a DFS perspective. But first off, at the top, we got Kyle Larson. Looked like he practiced about ninth best car. Do we have what group he went? Yep, group practice B. So Sterling, I didn't watch practice. Was the group A the better group?
It was definitely a little bit faster. What they did, John Hunter Nemechek spun out pretty early in that, so kind of interrupted the long runs. He spun out like
In group B.
Group A there,
Group A. Okay.
but
Yeah.
Group B was definitely fine. Had slightly slower track conditions, but
Okay. Yeah, so here we got all the lap rankings, what practice they were in, how many laps they ran, their best 10, 5, and 3 lap, and then obviously their best 10 there. But this is once again in the Discord, so if anybody wants to bring it up and look at it themselves, obviously join that Discord. So Sterling does a great job with these every week. He has all kinds of good info for you to sift through and try to look. But yeah, first off, we got Kyle Larson starting 19th. Is Kyle Larson starting 19th at Darlington like the must play of the week, do you think? Or do you think this is like maybe one where you try to fade and hope that something happens?
I think I'm leaning more towards the fade. Not really like a true fade, but definitely more towards being light on him. That's he did kind of screw up his qualifying lap, so that could really end up coming back to bite us since he should be starting better than he actually is.
Okay. Now, when I'm just going to cut you off there. When I look at the stream, I can't see the Excel file for some reason. Can you see it on your end? Am I sharing it?
I can see it, yeah.
You see it? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. When I hit it, I can't see it. So I was like, huh, that's weird. But okay. I'm just going to go back here. But yeah, go ahead and continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to make sure I was.
Oh, you're good. But basically, I don't know. Larson's been this year. He's been probably the best on this tire and intermediate package, but he's been top 10 in all races on this tire except for one. And then he did miss the Coke 600, which they did run this tire.
Yeah.
But the thing that really kind of blew my mind when I first started looking at stuff is how inconsistent he's been at Darlington. Like, he's got, I want to say, a fourth and a win, but outside of that, he's been pretty bad, really. Like,
Now I want to say I saw a stat that he won from the 18th starting position last week or last year. I'm sorry, not last week. Last year at Darlington.
uh, 2023, maybe.
Maybe was that
Yeah, it
it?
was. It was the
Okay.
September 2023 race. He started 18th, finished first, had 27 and a quarter speedster points.
Okay. This is where I was talking to Sterling pre-show, and I really like to do that 5x chart, and for some reason I just didn't do it this week. I would honestly like to see where Larson would have to finish to hit 10x. Like, obviously, he would need what 50. That'd be 52 and a half points.
Yeah, which I think that's really easy for him to do, but being in this price range and the other guys that are up there, you're going to need more than just 5x out of them.
Right, right. So, so what's ownership like on Kyle Larson? Because I'm kind of curious because I feel like this is going to be like everybody's easy click.
I'm seeing him at like 40%, which I'm definitely going to be below that. His
Yeah,
practice speed wasn't great. His fall off was better than most, but basically, I feel like if you're playing Larson,
you're going to
you're
bring away a dominator.
not necessarily that, but you're really expecting him to be in the lead stage 3,
Yeah.
if
Okay.
not sooner. But like I I think if you play Larson, you're playing him to lead. You're not playing him for place differential.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. So, judging from what you've been saying, I'm kind of leaning with you. Like Larson might be actually a good fade.
I want to say,
Like 8-ish. Like, I'm kinda with you. Like, obviously, you're gonna wanna have a little bit of exposure, but not anywhere close to the 40%.
yeah, I want to say fifth place is 39 points on DraftKings. So say
Yep.
he gets fifth, that's like 53 points. So that's about what he needs to hit 5x. But
Yeah. But, yeah, I kinda see what you're saying as far as all these other guys around him could definitely get 7 or 8x, so getting Kyle Larson at 5x might short yourself.
yeah, we're going to be looking for 2 to 3 speedsters in this race. So, like I said, if you don't think he's one of them, then you don't play him. But if you think he goes out and leads, then you play him.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm playing it as he doesn't lead, but I am going to play a little bit as
Yeah,
like he comes out and leads late. But
yeah,
for the
'cause
most part,
it's
I'm
Kyle
going to
Larson.
be light.
Yeah. Alright, so next up, yeah, I'm kinda with you, like, maybe 10 what are you thinking, like 10, 15% maybe?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
15,
that
maybe 20.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking there.
I'm only doing 20 lines in the 15, so I'm looking like 3 to 5 lineups.
Okay. Alright, so next up, we got Tyler Reddick starting 7th, 10-2 is his price, starting 7th practice. He was in that Group B. Nothing really sticks out, but this is normally a Tyler Reddick track. What do we think of Tyler Reddick this week?
I think this is like the perfect track you think of when you think Tyler Reddick. Steep, high tire wear. He's been one of the better cars on this tire. He's finished top 10 in 4 of the 5 races that he's ran on this tire. He's also been one of the better drivers at Darlington. He's got three top threes in the 6 races here. So, and he's actually had pretty good fall off in practice. But I think he's another one that you're kind of playing him as like a late dominator speedster, like stage 2, maybe, probably more like stage 3.
Yeah.
So, like, with that being said, I probably would not play him and Larson together.
No. No, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Now, Reddick's been a team that definitely needs a good finish. Um, I don't have exactly their stats up on the year, but they've been a team that's kind of underwhelmed so far. So
Yeah.
this could be their turnaround week.
Yeah, the 23 team has definitely outperformed them there.
Yes, yes. So Tyler Reddick, what's ownership saying for him?
Ownership for Reddick is showing about 30%.
Out 30%. I could see me getting probably around the same as Larson, like maybe like a 20% on Reddick. Is that what you're thinking? Or
Yeah, that's I'll probably be 15, maybe 20,
yeah,
but majority of my lineups, if not all of them, are going to start with these next 2 guys.
yeah. So next up, Denny Hamlin starting third. 1 practice didn't look anything spectacular, but Denny Hamlin never practiced as well. Let's throw that out there. Denny Hamlin and the RFK guys, I basically ignore their practices, but obviously he's shown last week. You know, he's kind of on the uphill tick, so doesn't need Chris Gabehart, I guess. Um, no, I'm just kidding. He still probably does. He probably still wishes he had Chris Gabehart. But Denny Hamlin starting third, 10-1. What do we think about Denny?
He is probably it's between him and Byron as who is my favorite play on the slate, but Hamlin has been top 10 in 4 of the 6 races on this tire. He's got the third best driver rating across all Darlington next gen races. His practice actually looked pretty good, and I would say he actually had the best fall off. So, and
Ooh,
he's got the number 1 pit crew, so he does have that open box in front of him. I feel like I think most of my lineups are going to start with this being approached as Byron leads stage 1, and then Hamlin leads basically the second half of the race.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely can't hate on that. I'm just kind of curious what ownership's saying on Hamlin.
I think it said 30%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're definitely. I know I'll probably be over that because I was actually thinking the same thing going in. Probably majority of my lineups will probably start with Byron Hamlin, and then I'm curious to see what your opinion is on the next guy. But I think that was going to be my starting block. So I'll probably be closer to 50 or 60%.
Yeah, that's I'm thinking I'm probably gonna be at, I would say at least 60%, maybe closer to 80.
Okay. I definitely don't hate it. Yeah, Denny Hamlin, we all know when it comes to high tire wear, he can conserve tires. We've seen it at Bristol, and yeah, every tire wear track, Hamlin seems to be there at the end. So Hamlin's a great play. Next up, William Byron starting on the pole. We don't have to really talk much about this. He does have a fast car. We talked about Byron a lot on the preview show. It looked like he practiced really well. I think I'm like Sterling. I think Byron might be one I might lock in 100%. Whether that kills me or not, I don't know. But Byron's probably my best play on the slate. Sterling, would you agree or disagree with that?
I definitely wouldn't disagree with it. Like I said with Hamlin, it's between Hamlin and Byron for me as my
Yeah.
favorite play. But what I have written down here in my notes is that if I don't have Hamlin, I'm gonna have Byron. Most of the time, I'm probably gonna have both. But
Yeah.
Byron has 3 top 6s in the 5 races he's ran on this tire. He's also got the best average finish and driver rating at Darlington, and that's despite finishing 30th in the September race. So, and he did lay down some of the quickest laps in practice. His fall off was a little worse than others, but I just I think I'm going to play this as William Byron leads all of
Yeah.
stage one.
I couldn't agree more. If he leads all of stage one, maybe a little bit of stage two, sprinkles in some fast laps, and like we were talking pre-show, even if he does finish fifth, I think he's still definitely playable.
Yeah,
But
that's
I definitely don't think he finishes fifth. I think he's more a top three car as long as chaos doesn't ensue. But I think he's definitely a top three car.
yeah, and basically that's all you need. If he leads stage one and can finish top 5, he's going to be needed because if he leads every lap in stage one, that alone is going to be 22 and a half points. So,
Yeah.
and if you look back at previous optimals, that's about where you need to be for.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll probably be. I might lock in Byron. I haven't quite decided. I'll at least be the 60% we talked about with Hamlin, but I might sprinkle in a lineup or two, maybe without Byron. But I'm going to be pretty damn high on Byron. Is ownership probably
42%.
okay? So
But another thing I want to hit on real quick with him is let me find it. The pool position has led an average of 27% across all 6 Darlington Next Gen races. But if you narrow that down to just the spring races, the pool sitter has led 49.3%.
okay, 49.3 in the spring. That's crazy. So yeah, that makes me definitely want to lock in Byron. Like I said, I'll probably. I don't know about a full 100, but I'll probably be damn close. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on the next guy, Ryan Blaney, 9.7. Obviously, this is the intermediate package, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has been probably the best so far. Like at Homestead, Vegas, probably had one of the best at Phoenix, which I believe runs the intermediates, if I'm not mistaken. But Darlington hasn't really exactly been the best of Ryan Blaney, but I mean, as far as a team firing on all cylinders so far, other than obviously when it's not firing on all cylinders and blowing an engine, but Is Ryan Blaney in play today?
Yeah, I would say he's definitely in play. He's looked like one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest, and he looked to hold that up in practice too. But it's so rough because he's had terrible luck, and not just this season, but on this tire in general. It seems like he can never finish a race. Now this year, a lot of time it's been a motor, so it has nothing to do with the tires, but it's just I don't know. He's definitely in play. He's a guy that you're gonna probably group with Reddick. Wouldn't play those guys together.
No, no, no.
But
So yeah, Blaney. Yeah, that was a guy coming in, and I was like, I'm really curious to see how he does in practice and everything, because like I said, he was probably hands down the best at Vegas. Definitely the hands down best at Homestead, but just had bad luck. Um, but yeah, for 9,700, I feel like if you went Hamlin, Byron, Blaney, and started with those, I mean, that's actually not terrible as far as pricing wise. Like that's pretty loose, honestly.
it is. But I think I'm probably gonna limit myself to two guys inside the top 10, unless it's someone like Priest.
Okay, okay, I could definitely see that because I mean, obviously, if you do play Hamlin, Byron, and Blaney, you definitely are limiting your upside as far as place differential and stuff. So
Like I'm definitely not against having three guys in the top 10. I'm just gonna have more. I only have
you're
two.
gonna need all three of them to lead at some point. I think
Yeah,
what you're trying to say, and for that to happen, you're really hoping Blaney takes the lead for X amount of laps, Hamlin takes the lead for X amount of laps, and Byron leads the first stage. So
yeah.
yeah, you're definitely limiting yourself, but I don't hate it. But next up, we got Christopher Bell starting 17th, 9,500. This is I think we talked about Bell a lot in the preview show, but his practice does not look good at all.
No, that's he definitely did not look good in practice, but he's got three top sixes in the six next gen races here. His practice did look slow. His fall off wasn't great. I personally am probably gonna end up a full fade on Bell, but
Yeah.
if you are going to play him or at least keep him in your player pool, I would make a group that it's him and Larson, Logano, Elliott, set that group 0 to 1.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I wouldn't play Logano, Bell, and Larson together or Elliott. I wouldn't play any of those, like 2 or 3 of them. That's crazy. You're gonna need Byron, Hamlin, or Blaney at some point.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree. I think Joey Logano next year is about the same play as Christopher Bell, starting 18th. 9,300. Still, his practice just did not look good.
No, but I feel like he never practices well. But
No,
still, he's a guy that I don't see myself getting to. Is just he was good here in 2022, the first year of the next gen car, but since then he really hasn't shown a whole lot of anything.
I couldn't agree more. I think I'm full fade on Logano. I don't think he's in my player pool at all. Next up, Chase Briscoe. This is a guy we were kind of curious on the weekend. Obviously, we know Truex. Semi always ran good here, and Chase Briscoe obviously won here last year in Stewart Haas. So a little bit better equipment this year around, but definitely didn't unload fast.
No, he's someone I'm very torn on because, like you said, he's been good here. He won here in Stewart Haas. He's been good on this tire. Like
Yeah,
when you look back at what he's done on this tire and what he's done at Darlington in general, in the equipment he's been in, he's really outperformed. But like you look at practice, it wasn't anything special. Fall off wasn't anything special. I really think he's. I hate to say it, but I think he's only in play strictly as a pivot off of Byron and Hamlin.
I honestly couldn't agree more. That's what honestly I was gonna say. Like as far as like just a dart throw, if you want to just be different, I don't hate it, but it's one of those you're gonna have to squint your eyes and tilt your head sideways to see him paying off. But it definitely could be done. But yeah, probably might have one lineup just as a dart throw. But other than that, I don't have any interest in Briscoe. Unfortunately, he has a good pit stall too. We did notice that on the pit stall.
Yeah, that is something to keep in mind. Let me actually look real quick, see what his pit rankings are. Never mind. Not good enough to matter.
Okay. Next up, Chase Elliott starting 15th, $9,000. Same with this whole Group B. It just doesn't seem like they or practice well.
No, and Elliot said during the Xfinity practice that they asked him why he picked Darlington for his Xfinity race, and he basically said it was a no-brainer because, well, he said he needs a lot of help at a lot of places, but Darlington is a place that he really needs a lot of help. So he basically said he sucks here. So
Yeah, I mean he was good in the last gen. I remember the whole him and was it Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin? One of them spun him out, and that's where that whole middle finger where he snowed on the track and flipped him off.
yeah,
I can't. Was that Hamlin or was that Kyle Busch? I can't remember. I think that was Kyle Busch.
I I know what you're talking about, but I can't
Yeah,
really. And
but
surprisingly, I'm seeing him at like 25% ownership. I feel like that's completely off. If that's the case, I mean, either way, I'm going to be 100% fade on him through my 20 lines.
I couldn't agree more. Next up, we got Kyle Busch running the Lamar Jackson number, number 8 there, for 8,800. Look at that. Number 8 starting 8
Jeez.
for 8,800.
Rigged.
Yep. Lamar Jackson's turning over right now. He's on
Oh,
his
geez. Let's just keep it going. His ownership, you want to take a guess at what that is?
Kyle Busch's ownership.
Yeah.
10%.
We're sticking on their train of eights.
Oh, 8%.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Fake
Yeah,
news.
I can't have any Kyle Busch. Start
Ooh.
8.
I
Uh-oh.
might. Yeah. It's he his fall off was pretty wild to me. I feel like he is a guy that could sneak in some fastest laps here. Like I think he makes a very interesting GPP play.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing that now that I turn over. I mean, that's actually not bad. And
His
when you think of tire wear, you do think of the Kyle Busch. I mean, unfortunately, but I mean, unfortunately, RCR has just been terrible this year. But I don't mind that as I think that's a little bit better of a pivot than Chase Briscoe at the moment.
It is scary though because Bush doesn't have the consistency at Darlington. In the next gen, he doesn't have it on this tire, so it's a really risky play. But
It is, but he did almost win here last year. Briscoe kind of fenced him. But I mean, I don't blame that on Briscoe. Yeah, that was just racing, but yeah, he did almost win here last year. So yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's a better. I think I might have a lineup or two with Kyle Busch. You did talk me into it. Boy, if Kyle Busch won, you think Lamar would be upset?
oh, he'd be pissed.
All right, enough Lamar talk. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah,
Next up, Ross Chastain starting 25th, 8,600. He's another Group B. Didn't look like anything spectacular in practice, but Ross Chastain will probably be 15th place driver. I just don't know if I can really get the Ross Chastain here. I I shouldn't say that. I think Ross Chastain. I just feel like a lot of people are going to click Bowman.
I definitely like Bowman a lot more than Chastain.
You too.
But I mean, it sucks because Chastain has actually been pretty decent on this tire. He's been fairly decent at Darlington, but it's the price that I just.
Yeah. That's me too. Ross Chastain just hasn't been consistent enough basically since he had that meeting with Mr. Hendrick or had a phone call with Mr. Hendrick, but yeah, he's just been so hit or miss. It's like how many times have we seen him unload fast and then we're all over him and then he lets us down.
Yeah, I'm seeing him around 30%. He's definitely a guy that you don't just flat out fade, but I uh, I can see myself probably being pretty close to in line with the 30%, I guess.
Okay. Okay. I don't think I can get there, but I can't argue with you. I mean, starting 25th, he's going to have definitely some upside. So I can't argue with you. I just can't. He's just one of them guys. Every time I play him, it's like
He
he.
he screwed me yesterday. He'll probably screw me today.
Yep. So next up, we got Bubble Wall starting fifth. This is a guy we kind of talked about in the preview show. We were curious to see how he would unload and qualify. Qualifying fifth. I don't mind him as a pivot just because he has been one of the most consistent drivers on the year, to be honest with you. As crazy as that is to say. But starting fifth, do you think you're going to get here a lot, Sterling? Because I don't see it, but I couldn't argue with you if you said you were.
I I definitely don't see myself getting there a lot. I think he's a guy you can keep and play just because of he's
Yeah.
been pretty fast this year on this tire and this package, and he's got one of the better pit crews. I want to say
Oh, for sure.
I think he had a good pit stall too. Yeah, he's got a great
Yeah.
pit stall too. So
Yep. Yeah. He's definitely one of
definitely,
those. I wouldn't play him with Kyle Busch or Chase Briscoe, but I would lump them together as like great pivots or dart throws.
yeah, that would definitely be a good group to make. Would be Briscoe, Bush, Bubba Wallace, 0 to 1, and then I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but you could throw Austin Cindric in that group as well. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not playing Austin Cindric.
No, me either. Me either. I wouldn't hate you if you threw him in that group, but Austin Cindric would be my least favorite out of that group. But next up is this the chalk of chalk here. Alex Bowman. Obviously, we see his teammate on the pole. Bowman doesn't look like he really unloaded fast. You said about that caution, though, but I mean, Bowman has been. I don't want to say as good as Bubba Wallace as far as consistency, but Bowman has been really consistent this year. So, and I feel like Bowman's one of them guys that just will ride around and take his time, passing people, doesn't really like overuse his shit. So, I don't know if Alex Bowman like 100% lock for you, do you think, Sterling? Or
I don't want to call him 100% lock, but he is definitely a guy I'm going to be very heavy on. If you look back through at this tire, he has been great. Like, if you look back at just this tire this year, he is probably the best as far as average finish, anyways.
yeah.
What's he done at Darlington overall? He's been pretty inconsistent. Best finish is 8th of May last year.
Okay. Now what's ownership saying as far as Alex Bowman? Are they pretty much saying that he's going to be like 50% owned, I assume?
No, it's like 35%. So
Oh wow, yeah, I'll definitely be over that. Um,
yeah, he's a guy I'm probably definitely gonna have a lot of. I kind of assume that he'll be at least like a 15th place car, which at that point
yeah,
it's gonna be.
you would have to assume that it is kind of crazy he didn't practice good, but like we obviously we have William Byron, his teammate, qualifying on the pole with a super fast car. So if Bowman missed on something or Bowman's crew missed on something, they're gonna get it figured out. You'd have to think.
Yeah, If he finished 15th, he would get like 45 points, and that's a little over 5x. So,
Yeah, yeah. Sign me up. I definitely think he, definitely finishes there at least. So yeah. Next up, Chris Buescher qualified 14th. This is one we don't ever really look at his practice, but looks not terrible to be honest. There's a few faster laps, but a few inconsistent laps. But I think that's Darlington. So, what do we think of Chris Buescher?
he has been like one of the best on this tire. I want to say he's got the fifth or fourth best overall finish. Pull that up real quick.
And he was in contention here. That obviously that year that Tyler Reddick took him out.
Yeah, that's. I always think back to that Homestead race that he won and led quite a bit of it. Homestead is the best comp to this track, so I like to look at that a lot.
Yep.
Now I'm trying to remember. Was that in the next gen when he won in Homestead?
Oh man, if it was like in the very beginning.
That's I was thinking 2022, but I want
I
to try
was
and
thinking
double check
2022
myself.
also. But yeah, Chris Buescher, definitely a nice pick because I think a lot of people are going to click Alex Bowman. Obviously, we were just talking about that, but I think Buescher, if you wanted to lump him in the Kyle Busch, Chase Briscoe group, I think Buescher would probably be my favorite out of those pivots. I don't know what his ownership's looking like, but it can't be very high with Alex Bowman starting right there, and obviously his teammate Brad Keselowski starting farther back right below him.
Yeah, I'm seeing him at just over 10%.
Oh,
I feel like he is the best play in that 8K range as far as low owned. Like
yeah, yes,
I think he can score just as high as anyone else in that range, and I think he's obviously going to be the lowest owned outside of maybe Kyle Busch.
yeah, yeah. I definitely couldn't agree more. I actually talking out loud. I actually really like that play, Chris Buescher, 8100. So I'm probably gonna definitely be over the 10%. Just try to be different. So I think that's where I'm gonna get different versus the Kyle Busch or anybody like that. So yeah. Next up, this is a weird one for me. So this one stuck out. So we talked about Brad Keselowski on the preview show and said like how it almost seems like he's washed, and we don't know what's happening with that car because Holmes said he was terrible. Past couple weeks, he's been terrible. But he unloads here, and it looks like for some odd reason, he unloaded with a rocket ship.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if this team just has this tire figured out because when the tire shit means a lot for them when they're doing their sim test and whatnot.
Yeah,
And you look back at just this tire going back to May 2024 at Darlington, he finished third, second last year in the Coke 600, then 14th here in the fall, 13th at Homestead in the fall. Wait a second. Ninth at Homestead last year, 11th at Vegas this year, 26th at Homestead this year. So Homestead this year he kind of sucked, but
yeah,
other than that, he's been a top 14 car every time on this tire.
yeah. So I definitely feel like Keselowski's kind of an easier click, even though in the preview show I was saying I'll probably be 100% out on Keselowski. Um, but it's really hard to be out on this guy who obviously is great at conserving tires. You talk about high tire wear. He's won at Darlington before, obviously, also. And he just looks like he unloaded with a rocket ship. So I'm sure ownership's going to be all over him, but I think for good reason.
Yeah, let me look at that real quick. His ownership is about 25%.
Okay, so not overly terrible, but yeah, it's that's where it's going to get hard because like the 8K range because obviously you're going to want to start with like Byron Hamlin, and then I feel like you're going to want to get one or two of these guys. So I mean, do you go Bowman? Do you go Keselowski? Do you go Busher? Like I feel like that's where that Bowman, Busher, Keselowski, I think are where like GPPs could be won or lost today.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell. Another guy that looks like he unloaded fast, Josh Berry, 7,800 starting 24th. I'm gonna assume, yeah, he was an A, but definitely looks like he was fast.
Yeah, he's a guy that I don't know. When you think of high tire wear tracks, you think of Josh Berry.
Yep, I definitely and going back to Bowman, Busher, Keselowski, I think Berry's right in there also. Like,
Yeah, and surprisingly, he's like one of the lower owned of the bunch, sitting around 20%.
okay,
He's
okay,
been somewhat inconsistent on this tire, but you got to keep in mind that every time except for this year, he has been with that SHR.
right.
Then you also got to keep in mind that he won on this tire in this package at Vegas.
Yeah, and he was fast too. He didn't really back into that win. He was pretty much top five the whole race. I hate when I see like people saying he backed into that win because he was
No,
he
that's
was probably top five car.
yeah, I agree 100%. Like he didn't legitly win that race, so I kind of get what they're saying, but he didn't give it away. Like
No, no, no.
he
I
controlled that race after he got up there.
he definitely did. He definitely did. So yeah, I would lump Bowman, Bushford, Keselowski, Berry. Uh, to get, I mean, I'd love to have two of those guys. I don't know if you can really do that, but
I know it's I look at Chastain, Busher, Kozlowski,
yeah,
Barry, even Eric Jones, and I
yeah,
feel like you want two of these guys. It's hard to do, and I don't want anyone using an optimizer to like force that in. Do not do that.
right.
But like I feel like a lot of my builds are going to be in that range.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Next up, Austin Cindric. I think I'm right here with you. Starting sixth. I don't trust him. I never really trust Austin Cindric. Um,
No, that's I have no desire to play Austin Cindric this week. If he somehow beats us, then we were getting beat anyways because half the fucking field wrecked.
yep, yep. I couldn't agree more. Next up, Eric Jones starting 34th. I agree with you, Sterling, here that like you kind of lump him into the Barry, Pez, and Busher category. Uh, I mean, it's hard to trust legacy here, but Eric Jones has always ran Darlington good.
Yeah, and he finished 10th in the fall 2023 race, 19th in the May 2024 race. Can't forget that he won the September 2022 race.
Yep.
Then on this tire specifically, he's been he's got an average finish of 21st, but he's
Okay.
got one, two, three top 20s. Worst finish is 27th, and that was this year at Vegas. So let's just say he finishes 20th. That's 13 plus 14, 37 points. So what's his price? 7.5.
At 7.5.
That's like right at 5x if he can finish 20th.
Okay. Now, what's his ownership at? Just out of curiosity.
His ownership is about 20%.
Yeah. It's hard to trust that team.
It is. Like if he was driving for damn near any other team, I would have a lot more interest in it.
I couldn't agree more. I like Eric Jones, the driver here. I just hate Legacy, the team here.
Like I don't even know who the fuck the crew chief is on that car.
But yeah, all in all, I mean, it looked like he had a decent practice, but it looks like that Group A was definitely the faster faster group, but although his fall off wasn't very, very good.
Yeah, he's just a guy that I'm gonna have a decent amount of strictly because of track history. Like,
Yeah, I think I'd rather try to spend 300 more and get Josh Berry, but
oh, absolutely. Like, if it comes down to one of
yeah,
those two, it's Barry every
yeah,
time for me.
it's Berry. But yeah, I mean, but if you have 75 left over, I guess Eric Jones isn't a bad click. Yeah. Who's this? Did you find out the crew chief?
Ben Bashore, which I know
I've,
nothing about.
I've
Like,
heard
I
that name before, though. I wonder. I have heard that name. I don't know who he was with before.
he came like he's been with the team, but he came over from the 43 or 42. So
Oh, okay. Huh. I don't know why I've heard of that guy before.
yeah, I do recognize the name. I'm trying to pull it up on
Yeah, to see where
racing.
he
If
came
you
from. He might have been a crew chief somewhere else that maybe we know.
Yeah, if you want to go into
Yep.
Gibbs and Priest there.
So next up, we got Ty Gibbs starting 11s at 7,400. It looks like he didn't practice half bad. He was in that Group B. All off was okay. Kind of looks like. But honestly, it looks like he has a top 10-ish car, maybe.
Priest?
Gibbs.
Yeah, Gibbs. Yeah, Gibbs was fast. I
Yeah,
hate it because he has been so fucking bad.
but that's also good for DFS. Well, if Gibbs would pay out and you have him, because this is like we always talk about the quarterback that sucks on Monday night that you try to shove into your main slate next Sunday because everybody sees how bad he was. I just feel like
For
everybody's kind of off the Ty Gibbs bandwagon. A lot of people aren't going to trust them starting 11th. So
no,
if you're making that group with Kyle Busch and Chase Briscoe, who else did we say in there? Bubba Wall,
Bubba.
Bubba, yeah. Like I wouldn't mind shoving Ty Gibbs in that group and just as a dart throw because if Ty Gibbs comes out here and finishes top 5, I'm not going to be surprised at all.
No, that's
He has also a good pit stall. I did see that in the thing. I can't remember exactly why he did. If he had an empty spot in front of him, or if there was a lapped car that we think are going to go a lap down early. But I remember seeing he has a pretty decent pit stall. So, and that team needs a good finish. So I wouldn't mind the dart throw on Ty Gibbs. Is that what you're thinking, Sterling?
yeah, I agree. I don't want to have a whole lot of them, but definitely have a little bit of interest in them. But back to Eric Jones real quick. That name Ben Bashore is familiar because he used to crew chief Kyle Busch,
Yep, yep.
and him and Kyle Busch, they won 3 times together: Kansas in 2021, Pocono in 2021, and the Bristol Dirt Race in 2022. So I
Oh,
don't know how much we want to look into that.
okay,
But he only has 12 races with Eric Jones. So
okay. So they must have hired him at the end of last year.
yeah, he switched from Nemechek to Jones towards the end of last year.
Okay. Next up, we got Ryan Priest. Great for Priest. I mean, we kind of said it last year. Like this could be a great transition for Ryan Priest going to RFK. He seems to be holding up his end of the bargain, racking off top tens. But here he is starting second for 7,200. Uh, I mean, definitely decent in practice. Doesn't but I I wouldn't mind Ryan Preece as a pivot here. I don't know what his ownership's saying, but if Ryan Preece got the lead at one point and pulled the Josh Berry and kind of held on to the lead, I would not be surprised. This is right in Ryan Preece's warehouse or wheelhouse, not warehouse, wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's I'm seeing him at less than 10% owned, and honestly, at 7,200, if he can just finish top 5, which I think he can do very easily, I
Yeah.
think he gets there strictly because I feel like he's going to get a handful of fastest laps at least. So let's
Oh,
say
absolutely.
5th place, 39 minus 3, 36 points. So let's say he finishes around 40 points. That would be
That would be 5x would be around 35 points. That'd be around 6x. 6x would be 7 or 42.
yeah, which I think he can do fairly easily, maybe even better
Yeah.
than that.
All right. So, how would you feel about like a Byron Blaney Priest stack?
To be honest, like this sounds gross, but I'm not afraid of it at all to play the
Yeah.
top 3 together.
Oh, top 3. Now you're getting spicy.
Yeah, so like if
I
you
mean,
want to mix in Blaney with one of them, perfectly fine with it.
yeah. I actually, yeah, I don't mind that because like Priest is 7,200. If he does, don't like if he does get a couple laps led, even 20 or 30, he's paying off. Like you said,
Yeah, like
it's a lot
honestly, I think
to get there.
yeah, like I think you can play those top 3 together and damn near lock yourself into every lap led.
Yep. Yep. I couldn't agree more. I actually don't mind that. All right, so next up we got Noah Gregson, starting 26th. Looks like he was another. I'm gonna assume he was in Group A because he looks like another one that unloaded fast. Uh, how's this fall off? Fall off looks a little troubling there, but how do we feel about Noah Gregson here at 71?
I gotta pull it up here, but I want to say he had great fall off.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. I just feel like I remember that. He
Yeah,
was Group A. Like he
yeah,
did look fast in practice, but being Group A, it's kind of hard to
I
truly.
know. I know. How has he been on this tire slash at Darlington?
This tire he has, where the fuck is he? Has been terrible on this tire. He did
Okay.
finish 16th at Homestead, and then Darlington. Where is he? He hasn't been good at Darlington either. But like,
Yeah.
I looking at all that makes me think I'm going to be very light on him.
Yeah.
I think he's someone you keep in your player pool, but you kind of just keep him in there strictly as a pivot. Like when we get down here, you're gonna hear a lot about Dinger, a lot about Haley. I could see leaving Gregson in as a pivot off of those guys.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. Next up, Carson Hocevar starting 13th, 7K. Looked like he unloaded fast. What do we think about Hocevar?
He definitely looked like he had a lot of speed, but he was in Group A, I believe. So looking back on this tire, he has been not good. He finished 5th at Homestead in 2024. And then outside of that, his best finish on this tire was the Coke 600 last year that he finished 21st. So starting, I believe he's starting what, 13th? Yeah.
Yeah, so is he like a fade for you, do you think?
He's one of them guys that I'm always afraid to just flat out fade. But
Right.
seeing his ownership at around 10%, looking at his pit rankings, they've been terrible in pit road. So I feel like you'd throw him in with Gregson as well and just keep those guys like 0-1. Very,
Yeah.
very little interest in both of them, but I'm gonna probably end up getting to a little bit of each.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that.
It's just once you get down to this range, it starts to get a little sketchy. There's a couple guys that really stick out, and then everyone else just kind of there.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Uh, any interest in AJ Allmendinger starting 22nd for 7,000 or 6,900? I guess not 7,000.
I'm not really a big fan of the price, but he has been great on this tire.
Okay.
He's only ran 3 races on this tire, both this year and Homestead last fall. But in those 3 races, he's got the best average finish. So it's
Mm, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's kind of hard with the price, 6,900. I don't know if a lot of builds you're gonna get there, but yeah, if you could, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
it's kind of rough though, because then you look at Darlington specifically, and he's only ran 2 of the 6 next gen races here, and he finished 13th and 23rd. And those were both the 2023 races.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard for me to get to the dinger, but yeah, definitely can't blame anybody if they do. Daniel Suarez starting 30th. Did you see that whole? I don't know if it was real or not, but apparently on April Fool's Day they like track how I'm pretty sure it was real, but I didn't see it. The track house announced that Connor Zilic was going to take over the 99 in 2025 or 2026.
I didn't see that. I seen he's going to run like
Yeah,
87 or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I don't know if that was like an April Fool's thing because it was on April 1st. Somebody posted that they had like a screenshot, which I know could have been doctored, but I mean, I definitely could see it. Unfortunately, Daniel Suarez has kind of been underperforming in that car, but that organization as a whole kind of took a step back. But Daniel Suarez starting 30th at Darlington. I don't know how I feel about this, Sterling. How do you feel?
Uh,
I think it's kind of a trap.
yeah, pretty much. Like, I feel like you're seeing. I think if you get a 15th out of him, you got really lucky.
Yeah,
And a 15th would be like 32, 42 points. So it would get him there.
but you're
But
damn lucky if he does get there. He doesn't have a ceiling really above that, I don't think,
no, I think we're looking at more like an 18th to 20th place. And
at best.
we'll call that 35 points if you're lucky. And that's not going to be enough.
Nope. Nope. I couldn't agree more. I think Suarez is a trap here. I'm going to stay away from him. I don't think any interest in this next guy, Michael McDowell, starting 10th. I think he overqualified for me. Is there anything you see, Sterling, that's going to talk me into Michael McDowell?
Nope.
Okay. We don't have to spend much time talking about him then. Ricky Stenhouse, qualifying 28, 6,500. I would think Darlington would be a decent track for Ricky.
It's definitely a track that comes to mind when you think of him.
Yeah,
Double
of his
checking.
driving style.
He's another one I feel like tops out at 15th if he's lucky. Probably 15th, 20th place car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to have to get someone in this range. You're going to need a guy to score 40 to 50 points. He's a guy that could get you a 17th and 10 points for fastest laps or something. But
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. I think this kind of says screams his driving style, but I don't know. Ever since it seemed like they switched to that Hayek, and even last year they were kind of, yeah. I just don't think that team's there yet.
no, still the same base team. It's just they've never been the greatest, but
Nope. So next up, we got Austin Dillon starting 23rd. Just judging by these numbers here, I'm going to assume he was in Group A. Yes, he was. What's ownership saying on Austin Dillon? Because I feel like this could be, and this might be my bias, but like maybe Austin Dillon's a low owned, decent pivot just because of the high tire wear.
he's slightly over 10%. He's been hit or miss on this tire, 13th at Homestead, but he also finished 6th at Homestead last season, so that could just be more of a Homestead thing than a tire thing.
Yeah, it just always seems like high tire wear. Dillon always seems to find his way there at the end. I don't know. I could be just pulling that out of my ass, but I don't.
Darlington in general, he's finished 15th, 28th, 20th, 35th, 17th, and 9th. So,
So really nothing there to write home about. Yeah, maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into him. Yeah, you talked me out of him, I think.
yeah, that was my initial thought. I'm not going to have a whole lot, if any, Austin Dillon.
Yeah. Next up, Justin Haley. I'm surprised by like how kind of baddish Justin Haley's been this year. I mean, having Rodney Childers come over, like we just haven't seen this Justin Haley that we normally see. But um, he
He ha-
did finish. He did finish in the top 10 here last year.
and they've been good on this tire in this package. They finished 10th at Homestead, 14th at Vegas, so average finish of 12th.
Okay, so what's ownership saying on Justin Haley? I'm kind of curious of where ownership's going in this lower range other than John Hunter Nemechek. I feel like a lot of people are going to click him.
Haley is around 15%.
Okay. I could see myself probably being around there, if not a little bit over. Is that right where you are?
I'm probably going to be over that. Keep in
Yeah.
mind, in the spring Darlington races, he's finished 9th, 8th, and 3rd.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Then you can go ahead into these other two. I got to go blow my nose.
Yep, you're good. Next up we got Todd Gilliland starting 12th. Practice, he was in that group B, but nothing really to speak of there. Unless Sterling talks me into something when he gets back, I don't think I'll have any Gilliland starting that high. Zane Smith, I think, is a little bit more intriguing than Todd Gilliland because Zane Smith has shown top 10 speed all year so far. Top 10, 12 ish speed, I should say. So he could be a decent play down in this range that he could ride around at 11th, 12th place finish. And I think really for 6K, I think that would be ideal. So, but I'll let Sterling go into those two. I only got Austin Hill. I was all excited for Austin Hill to come over and run, but that car looks terrible. And that was even in Group A. So, but yeah, I will let. So, Sterling, my thoughts, Todd Gillen, I'm not really that interested in at all. Zane Smith, I think that's a decent pivot. I think he could run around 11th or 12th easily here. He definitely has shown that type of speed all year. Um, I don't know if that's where I mean, I definitely could see myself fucking Zane Smith a couple times. I mean, I'm not going to go like 100% or anything, but I definitely like where he's been running all year so far.
Yeah, I pretty much agree 100%. I feel like Todd Gillen has to get lucky to stay
Yeah.
anywhere near there.
Yep.
And Zane Smith, we know he's got Todd Gilliland's old
Yep.
crew chief, so we're gonna see some weird shit. And
Yep.
I feel like Zane Smith could actually finish top 10 with a
Yeah.
fair amount of speedster points, like 10 to 15 just by pitting differently.
I couldn't agree more. And then I started talking about Austin Hill. I was all excited for this, but that car looks terrible, and even in Group A practice.
Yeah, that's I thought it was weird that they brought him here.
Yeah, yeah. Where's Jesse Love going? He's going Bristol. Is he
I
running the Bristol?
believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
actually forgot about that. I do remember seeing that. I just can't remember where.
yeah. I think it's Bristol. I could be wrong on that, but I mean that's cool. RCR is doing that, but this car just looks. And this car last year couldn't be trusted either.
No.
Um, yeah, even in Group A, like those first couple lap times or those first, I don't know how many laps are there, 15 laps, just looked terrible. Then it looks like he pitted, but then it looks like he was decent. So I don't know. I mean, starting 37th, he can't really hurt you that much. I just don't know how much I trust it. Is his ownership coming in at very high?
It's around 5%.
Okay. I might, it's going to pay me to say, I might be over the 5%. Just because he can't really hurt you.
If you're if you have 5.9K left, I feel like I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go Custer
Okay.
almost every time. I was sitting here debating, looking, but I am somewhat high on Custer in this range.
Okay.
Holy hell, my allergies are about to fucking kill me.
Yeah, Cole Custer actually looked a hell of a lot better than Austin Hill. So yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think if I had the 5.9 left, I think I'm clicking Custer. A little bit more trusting of team. Obviously, they're not just a thrown together team like they are over there at the Austin Hill camp. Unfortunately for Austin Hill, I don't even know who the hell the crew chief would be, and then obviously they're going to have to find a pit crew, which is probably the Xfinity pit crew, but it's hard to tell. Obviously the Xfinity pit crews used to changing 5 lug tires versus the 1 lug, and I don't know. I just feel like that team could be a mess.
Yeah, and Custer, he hasn't been good on this tire this year, but he did finish third on it at Homestead last fall. He hasn't ran Darlington since 2022, but he finished 14th in the fall race and 26th in the May race. So nothing like crazy to get excited about. He's been in the car all year at least, so he's going to be more comfortable than Austin Hill anyway. So
Yep. Yep, I agree. I feel like their Custer's upside's a lot better there. So next up we got Riley Herbst. I think he's one that's missing the book study for 2311. But yeah, this car, I definitely don't see anything that makes me want to play Riley Herbst.
now, to be honest, the rest of these guys, I've really no interest in. I could see making an argument for SVG
Yeah.
just because of the equipment he's in, the price, and the starting position. But
Now,
honestly,
do you think that John Hunter Nemechek, do you think that was just a product of Group A? Oh, he just didn't run any laps.
no, he's the one that wrecked out early.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
actually surprised he was able to qualify because that car looked fairly rough.
Okay. I just see the one and the one. I was like, how the hell was he fastest in practice? But yeah. Yeah, I could make an argument for SVG. Definitely starting 36. He's kind of in that Austin Hill territory where he can't really hurt you. That car's just been unfortunately terrible all year, but I mean, even if he racks off a 30th place finish, which honestly by practice he wasn't god awful, but
No, but
Group
my
A.
favorite down here at the bottom is hands down Ty Dillon.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna hope you were gonna say the same thing because that's my favorite. He's just been one that's just saved his equipment the whole race. He's been running around that 20 to 25th. He's been a lot better in that car than I thought I'd give him credit for. So, is that what you're thinking, Sterling?
Yeah, that's if I'm down in the bottom, I'm clicking Ty Dillon every time.
Yep. Yep, I am too. Uh, so yeah, that's it. That's the driver by driver breakdown. Like Sterling said, probably starting out with Byron Hamlin. I don't mind Byron Hamlin Priest in a lot of those, but if you want to go different, I mean, definitely sprinkle in some Larson, Reddick, Blaney. I think I'm a full fade on Bell also, full fade on Logano. And then you're gonna mix in. I think a lot of these low 8K guys, high 7K guys. I think I'm gonna sprinkle some of them in and go from there. I think that's gonna be my strategy.
Yeah, like mine for the most part is going to be very heavy on Hamlin and Byron,
Yep.
and then like you
Now,
said, that
are
low
you
8K range.
gonna have one lineup? And I this is just me just thinking out loud. Um, I might have like one lineup where I'm like Byron and then place differential just in case Byron just runs away with this race and it turns into a snooze fest.
No, because I think someone gets there eventually. Otherwise,
Okay. All right. I just was talking out loud there. Just try to bounce some ideas. So
I mean, you could see something similar because we have seen the main Dominator wreck quite a bit in this actually. So
okay. So yeah, that's the way I'm gonna build is what we just talked about. Byron, Hamlin, a lot. So that's about all we got. Sterling, is there anything you want to go over real quick other than we'll probably see you guys for where is it? Bristol preview next week.
yeah, um, not really. I mean, like I said, I'm basically building around Hamlin, Byron, and then I think Busher is going to be my guy in that low 8K range.
Yep. Yep. I think that's the great pivot there.
But outside of that, good luck. Get in the Discord,
Yep. Get in
and
the Discord and we will see you guys uh for the preview show.
yes, sir.